The Joker is one of the most iconic supervillains in comic books. He's a ruthless serial killer, a criminal genius, and practically chaos incarnate. But did you know that there's actually 3 of him? Hi everyone, I'm Lewis, aka Spider-Man 1991, and today I'm going to talk about one of the biggest mysteries to come out of DC Comics' Rebirth event. And I'm also going to give you my own theory about how 3 Jokers could actually work in the DC universe. First, let me give you a little backstory about the whole idea behind the 3 Jokers. Now, a few years ago, during the final Justice League story arc of the New 52, called the Darkseid War, in issue number 42, Batman takes command of the Mobius chair, which is frequently used by the new god Metron. When Batman sits on the chair, he's granted all the knowledge in the universe. Upon sitting on the chair, he tests its ability by asking who killed his parents, and the chair answers, Joe Chill. Batman's next question is, what is the Joker's real name? The chair gives him an answer, but Batman's response is, no, that's not possible. Now, we don't find out what the chair told Batman until the very end of the story. In the final part, in the epilogue scenes, Green Lantern goes to see Batman about what he learned from the chair. And Batman tells GL that when he asked the Joker's identity, the chair revealed that there were actually 3 Jokers. Now, 3 Jokers. Where could this idea have come from? Well, the story was written by Geoff Johns, who is known for sort of modernizing older continuity aspects. And I think really this idea came from the number of changes that the Joker has been through throughout his entire comic book history. Now, there's pretty much been 3 main ways the Joker has been portrayed ever since he first appeared way back in the Golden Age. In the Golden Age of comics, which was from 1938 to 1956, the Joker was a career criminal who had often had underlings working for him and murdered guards or anyone who got in his way with his trademark Joker venom. While the Golden Age Joker is not a stranger to murder, his killings were much more calculated and planned. Now let's cut to the Silver Age, from 1956 to 1970. Restrictions placed on comic books at the time meant the Joker had to be toned down. Murder was not allowed and good guys had to always defeat the bad guys. This meant that Joker turned to a bank robber who just used joke-based gimmicks to pull off his heists. Also, this Joker's main motivation was merely monetary. There was even a story where he inherited a large sum of money, so he decided to quit crime. Oh, of course, that didn't last. Now, the next 2 ages of comic book history, Bronze Age and Modern Age, these versions of the Joker are actually very similar, so you can easily combine them into one version. Now, starting in the Bronze Age, Joker returned to his roots as a serial killer. However, there was a greater emphasis placed on his psychology. This revealed that instead of being sent to prison, Joker was sent into Arkham Asylum. Also, just like his Golden Age counterpart, this Joker was prone to murder, but instead of it being part of his plan or calculated, he mainly acted on impulse. Also, the Bronze and Modern Joker was more obsessed with his relationship with Batman, and his motives were often aimed at towards hurting the Cape Crusader, whether that's by murdering Robin or by crippling the daughter of his longtime ally. Alright, so now that I've gotten that information out of the way, I'm going to explain my own theory about how there could be 3 Jokers. Let's start my theory at the very beginning of the Joker's origin. Batman chases down a criminal known as the Red Hood at Ace Chemicals, but the criminal falls into a vat of chemicals before getting captured by Batman. When the criminal finally reaches land, he takes off his helmet and looks at his appearance. Seeing the haunted grimace, he decides this is just the sort of thing he needs to spread fear not amongst civilians, but also his criminals, in order to become one of Gotham's most powerful crime bosses. And he takes the name the Joker. Once the Joker first appears, he has his own gang together, which he uses to commit various crimes and also kill people with his trademark Joker venom. Batman fights this Joker various times, but each encounter ends with the Joker faking his own death in order to elude capture. Eventually, the Joker decides that he can't keep doing this and decides to leave Gotham. But before leaving, he decides to make sure that his name lives on by appointing a successor, most likely one of his most trusted underlings. Gives him some instructions on what he can do in order to maintain the idea that the Joker is alive. Now, this second Joker does continue the Joker's crimes, but is much more stagnated than his predecessor. This Joker sees this as an opportunity just to make easy scores on crimes instead of killing people. The second Joker also isn't prone to faking his death, so instead he allows himself to be captured by Batman. Upon hearing word that the Joker has become nothing more than a thief with gimmicks, the original returns. the original Joker confronts the successor about his performance and decides that his successor's time has ended. Rather than stepping back into the spotlight, the original Joker decides that he needs to take care of Batman, but he can't do it. He's fought the Batman. Batman probably knows some ways to stop him, so he decides he needs a real wild card. That's where he enters Arkham Asylum. The Joker tracks down a John Doe at the asylum, one who has no memory but is prone to violent tendencies. Joker decides that that instead of just picking someone to wear the Joker's name, he needs to create a new one from scratch. So he takes the mentally unstable man back to Ace Chemicals and pushes him in one of the vats just like he fell into all those years ago. This mental patient's pushed further from the edge and takes on appearance much like the original Joker. This time instead of money, the original Joker gives his successor one simple mission: kill the Batman and anyone who gets in your way. With a new apprentice unleashed on Gotham, one of madness and chaos, the original Joker just takes a step back and waits until his successor can accomplish his goal. So that's basically what my theory is. The original Joker is much more in line with the Golden Age counterpart. While his first successor was much more in line with the Silver Age, he did not fulfill his original purpose and thus was offed by the original. The second and most recent Joker is one that's more psychologically insane, one that the original Joker decided to unleash on Gotham like a mad dog in order to take down Batman. So if you've watched my videos, you know that I'm a huge fan about Rebirth, and I've pretty much been sort of focused on the whole aspect of Dr. Manhattan's involvement with altering the DC character's history. So in case you're wondering why I didn't bring up the multiverse or Dr. Manhattan, it's because I feel like every single time we know something wrong with Rebirth, it has to be Dr. Manhattan. Like, that's immediately what the DC fans cry wolf about. Also, when it comes to Batman stories, in my own head, whenever something that's more rooted with Batman, I tend to think of it as more grounded, because I like Batman stories that tend to be a bit more grounded, even though I do accept Batman's role in the DC universe on a more universal aspect. That's usually whenever he's involved with the Justice League mission. Also, the main inspiration for my theory was from stories about copycat serial killers, which has happened on almost every crime show ever. Unfortunately, it will probably be a while until we get an official answer. While it was announced that Geoff Johns is working on the story involving the three Jokers with artist Jason Fabok, it might be a long time until we see this story, because right now Geoff Johns is currently writing Doomsday Clock, which has been delayed and is now on a bi-monthly schedule. So this story we may not have an official announcement or date until Doomsday Clock ends, which may not be until next year. Well, if you didn't like my theory about three Jokers, there's tons of others online that if you want to check out. What did you guys think of mine, though? If you have any problems with it, or if you want to add to it, let me know in the comments below. Also, if you want me to do any other theory videos, let me know about that too, because this was a lot of fun to make. Also, remember to stay subscribed and notified, and if you want, you can follow me on Twitter to stay. That's another good way to know when I post a new video, because it always shows up in my Twitter feed. Link is in the description below. Thank you again for watching. Later days.